Hello everyone, this is Blender Guppy. So in this video, I'm going to model a sci-fi hallway section using random flow, creative flow, and panel cutter add-on. So we're going to go for a unimesh or a single mesh, and we're going to utilize the merge panel toggle in random panels. And in panel cut, we're going to use bevel. This is also destructive. And with creative flow is mostly destructive, with just the boolean being boolean and the data transfer being the non-destructive. Okay. So let's build the base mesh. Will be our. So once you finish, we're going to uh, fix the topology. Make sure that it's lower poly for the array to actually work best or work optimally with the resolution, with a lower resolution. So let's get rid of this center faces. So this is the y-axis, this is the x-axis, and let's try and design the hallway section. So this will be how long it is, or the section. You can decide how long it is and how wide it is. Then I'm going to mirror this in the xy axis, not the z axis, because I want this and this to be different. Okay, so using random panels and setting the max. So you can see that it's extruding or insetting outside on this faces here outside. So we want it to extrude towards the inside, towards the center, and right in these faces. So what we're going to do is select every faces, press Alt N, and flip the normal. Okay. And then if we try the operator again, you can see that now it is extruding the right way. Okay. Random panels. Oh wait, I'm going to add more topology here just to provide some evenly spaced quads to have the random operators operate on more faces. Okay, selecting everything and selecting random panels. Just click on the inset. I'm going to get rid of the center line by modifying the clip center. So pressing shift, then dragging. So pressing shift and dragging means slowing down the increment. Without shift, you can see that the values modify too fast. With shift, it's slower. And you can also use control middle mouse up or down, middle mouse roll up or down. Okay. Or finally, manually inputting the value. So everything is pretty light. So I'll just use the drag or the slide method, drag and slide method. There we go. And we're going to use radial. And okay, I'm not going to include this part here. This is the walkway. Okay, I'm going to set the real geo here just to make myself comfortable. Okay. Okay, this is our walkway, and this will be our where our extrusion will happen. So if you want an idea on how to create the sections or create the hallway section, you can use the randomization. You can use randomization to generate an idea for you, and then just modify the resulting geometry. Okay, max. Okay, let's play around with the maximum and maximum value of the panel size. Okay, and this is our random height seed, min max. We can play around with the seed value. Let's try and incorporate some triangulation, 10%, and look for something that looks good using the panel seed. We're still going to edit the result uh, and create some more detail using panel cutter. So the update is drawing near. So everything's working good and there's no bugs. So in a couple of days, I'm going to update, then email you that the update has been released in the store. So just 5% triangulation. Okay, and play around with the seed again. Maybe increase the max volume panel size to 20%. And then look for the shape again. This could work. Okay, this is 53. Let's remember the number. Okay, we can work with that. 53. And just modify the value here. Okay. Now we can, first I'm going to adjust the inset or the separation of the islands like that. The default was 50. I'm going to try and use 60 or 70. Okay, 60. And then it opened up the center line again because I increased the thickness. So let's just increase the distance for the clip center. Okay. Okay, now. Okay, we're going to toggle on merge panel to merge the result. You can see in the outliner, this is the non-destructive result. This is the cube R panel, which is the randomized result. If we merge this, what will happen is that the subdivision we're using to generate the details in the cube R panel or the randomized result, which is another mesh, it will be used on the source object in order to merge this correctly. So they have the same number of faces. So in order for them to be merged, or vertices, number of vertices, in order for them to be merged correctly. Okay, merge. So this is our exterior. So you can see in the um, outliner, now we have the cube. If we toggle this off, we have two objects. If we toggle this on, there's only the cube because we merged the result. So this is the result. The subdivision has been incorporated on the source mesh in order for the um, randomized mesh to be merged correctly. And what happens is that if you want to reuse the randomization on on this object again, you don't have to use subdivision again, unless if you want to, because the faces we already have too many faces to play with, and we don't need to actually use subdivision. So 0, and you can play around with the final seed. If you do increase this and we have merge panel, then it increased the source mesh, the resolution of the source mesh again. Okay, so uh, so with this we don't have to use subdivision unless if you want to, because we, like again, we have this much faces to play with. Okay, So let's try and do some minor detailing uh, with panel cutter. So later on, I'm going to prep the files for the updates. So don't worry about if you're seeing any features that you don't have yet. Pretty soon you will have this. In Final Cut, you will have the bevel as well. Okay, let's just use bevel. This is destructive. Increase the width of the and the offset. Let's try and use this. See what you can see. You can merge the vertices, but for this uh for this instance, I'm not gonna use it because I'm just prepared to have these ingots. Okay, so we're just modifying the. So what I'm doing is just basic modeling. If you are working and copying this workflow, of course you can decide. You can of course model this better. Let's just make this larger and use this. You can raise this up, selecting these faces, Alt S. If you don't have the add-on yet, and you want to really copy this video, if you don't have this yet, and if you really want to copy this video, you can emulate this process using vanilla functions in Blender. All you have to do is select the edge, Control B, and then in the bevel mode, control middle mouse button, just one roll to give it a single segment, and then release confirm. And then with this selected, control minus on the numpad, control minus to select the middle vert, then Alt S to shrink or fatten that. Okay. So the only problem is that in order for it to be consistent, you have to remember the values you've used for the bevel. You can see you can just input it 0.01 for the bevel, for example, and then control minus, Alt S, and then here negative 0.005. Okay, so repeating that process, control B, and then control B 0.01, control minus, Alt S, negative 0.005. Okay, so it's kind of repetitive. I mean, the process, of course, you have to is takes too long because of the many steps that's involved. But you can at least do it with the vanilla functions in Blender and copy this method here. The only advantage of this is, of course, the merge function, and also with mirror, you can also cut the mirror. So for example, panel cut, bevel, cut symmetry. Okay. With the um, with the technique that I've shown you, however, it doesn't cut the geometry. You have the symmetry. In order to cut the symmetry, you have to apply the mesh. Then cut the symmetry line, then reestablish the mirror. Okay. Um, what's a mirror? X, Y. And also there's the there's the uh the merge bit, which is kind of useful. So it works with this type of geometry because there are close vertices to the border vertices of the um, beveled panel cut. So when you increase this, it will merge on the closest vertex next to it. If you actually use a higher value, you can see that the entire bevel cut has been merged to its neighboring vertices. Okay, so let's just use 0. Okay, so we have that. We're going to, so I'm just going to draw using, oops, Alt B to cut the, there we go. So we can see this right here. Draw cuts. And Alt B again to show the geometry. Okay. Just a tiny bit of detail. Sort of handles that open up to whatever for the maintenance crew. Okay, I'm going to save this to always 01. Okay, Alt B again. Draw cuts. G to grab. And there we go. Okay, so fixing this, Control T and Alt J. Then F9, set this to 180 degrees. Same here. Control T, Alt J. You can just extrude it if you want, but with extrusion, it's going to copy this, the way this edge is being slanted right there. So that's why I'm drawing it to avoid this edge copying the orientation of this edge. However, if you want to just use extrusion, then you can just edit the line after, make it straight. Okay, let's do a bit of, I'm going to colorize this and sharp, mark sharp, just to see the different planar, the different planar extrusions. Okay, object. You can actually just use the, okay, let's use the, on this empty slot here, blank flat. Let's use the, to fill in something, filler. Okay, let's not use random height and triangulation. Increase the thickness. So we haven't used subdivision yet. We're just using the we're using the natural resolution of the object hallway object. Plane flat faces, center line. Let's do bevel. Where's the okay? So I forgot. Okay, let's okay. I'm not gonna use bevel. I'm just going to use inset because this is for the next update. So, but the difference is that with bevel, the faces no longer needs to be raised in order to create the panel cut detail. You can see that the faces remain flat. So if you want that effect, you can certainly use it in the next update. Okay, just using randomization to um, create some details on. I'm going to remember this object, Control C on this property here, and then inset F9 and Control V. Then selecting these edges here. I'm going to get rid of the mark sharp edges. Final cut, bevel. This was the final cut edges was developed when I used the random vertex color. Control E, clear sharp. Okay, lighting. We can okay, excuse me for a bit. I'm just gonna get my cat out of the room because she wants to get out. Okay, sorry about that. She's like, I wanna get out. Make flat faces, random panels again. And let's look for something. Okay, this looks good, but I think we can do better. If not, we're just going to just probably design it ourselves. Add a loop here. So let's try this. Panel cut, bevel. There we go. And okay, actually we do something like four of them. Yes. And repeat this design on other parts of the model just for some consistency. Uh, Okay, that's too big. Actually, we just use two here. There we go. And they kind of look the same. So is this is going that way, and this is going that way. Okay. And repeat the design again. What I'm doing is actually, I don't know what it's called because I saw it like years ago, but this is like a design trick where you, for example, you draw this in your character in your in some part of your character armor. Then you can use this design to repeat it. So for example, this is the shoulder pad and this is the arm. So the trick is you can actually repeat this design element. You can then use it on the chest and in the knee. So something like that. So what it's I think what it creates for the objects is to increase, I mean, to create familiarity, I think. So I forgot, but it's a trick. It's an art trick. When I used to do modeling before I started scripting, so I used to read a lot of stuff like that, learning modeling, and I was actually part of the quad club. I was depending quads, like quads is the best. There ain't no other thing like quads. And then Blender got, at the time I was using Blender, it doesn't have any in-guns. It just has tries and tries and quads. You can't do any in-guns. So when the in-guns finally, when the in-guns is finally became possible with Blender, then I saw the truth that in-guns are awesome. And it helped me, actually helped me become a better modeler because become a better retopologist if the term exists. Let's repeat the stripes. I'm going to turn this into an ingon and creates a. So what happens this if I create this as an ingon, then I have to refer the vicinity to make it all quads. So it's a great project. Average, increase the size. Where's the size? Okay, so these are evenly spaced. So that's the purpose of me doing that, to make everything evenly spaced. And then use panel cut. We have that. There's a bit of a error with the shrink fattening of the. So let's just fix it. Raise it up, or no. This one. There we go. So we have inguns here. Control T, Alt J. Doesn't look good. Okay. J. Oh no. Um. Protein, J. It's a quad. That's a quad too. Protein, J. Protein, J. So yeah. Does this even matter? I'm just showing you how to. It also use quad slice 0.01 or 0.001. Okay. And then quad it here. So like that. Okay. So you can there's many ways to approach this and still make it look good. Making it look good means that when you have the UV, the entire thing is doesn't look too confusing for the UV guy. So what he'll do probably is just, get this part, get it's like paintbrush. Get this part and then UV that. So what you do here in this part doesn't really matter. Okay, so let's um do this. Oops, that and Control T, Alt J. Okay, not bad. So we have that. A touch of chaos in that part, but still looks good. Okay. Compartments. Compartments. So in reality, I would have just made it separate object, but since the premise of this video is about Unimesh, we're going to stick to Unimesh. Bridge, edge slip. Okay. So every L section has a compartment. This is probably guns or extinguishers. I mean extinguishers and other repair items. Select select loop link flood faces. Link flood faces is in select in edit mode in select here and then select linked and here. So right click and then assign to favorites. Then press Q to open up the quick favorites menu and then you can find it here. Okay. So what it does is select faces that has the same planar normal planar normal the that has the same planar normal uh, compared to the selected faces or the active face. Okay. Random panels. Whoops. No, 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 no. Oh, oh, remember this. Okay. I almost made it crash. There we go. We should also do that here. Link flat faces. Something that makes sense. The overall design. Okay, this one right here as well. So at the beginning, oops, I did it again. Since we already have enough faces to work with, I don't have to use increase the subdivision unless I necessarily have to. Okay, so right in the beginning, people, the 3D community, 3D printing community are of course requesting the Unimesh functions. So that's why random panels has the merge panel option, and I've also created a bunch of random operators that are destructive just to complement the workflow, the 3D printing, just to help the 3D printing community use this add-on to experiment with uh, designs. But they've gone quiet since then. Wonder what happened. Okay, let's also repeat this design here. So if anyone can remember what the repeating pattern is for, so it is for the audience, of course, the viewer. I just can't remember what it's used for actually. I know it is useful, but the specific the specific use I can't remember. There we go. And I wonder where our lights would be. It could be this one or in the center. Yeah, it could be just this one. Or just this two here. Or this four. And then inset, play around with the don't make it too be sure to not make the areas too busy with detail. Make sure that there are some rest areas. This one, this area feels a bit empty. Let's just put in a couple of lines. Okay, that's good. And let's add some line here. Let's pull it out and create a handle. I and bridge edge loop. Delete this. There we go. Yeah, I think we're mostly done with the areas. Now let's scan. Let's scan. We can deal with this part here. And I'm just going to use Final Cut to create to start the base design. Then we can edit it using Panel Cutter or Creative Flow, draw some lines. So apart from playing around with the seed, you can also play around with the panel size and the solvers, and also the path in the walk solver. The path property is only available for the walk solver and not for radial. Okay, where's the panel seed? So 2 notches. Let's just use 1 notch. There we go. Perfect. Not not too overly detailed. Let's try and create some middle cut here. Okay, there we go. And a bit of same design here. Oops. The width. So I'm pressing F9. F9 is for the redo panel in Blender. So whoever I've always thought that whoever put it on the F9 hotkey must have really long fingers. But using it through the years, I've just gotten used to it. Used to just reaching over and then pressing F9. You can of course remap it if you want. You can remap it to the tilde or F1 and make sure that the F1 hotkey is that's been mapped to a function. You also have to map it to a new function because you're using F9 for it. Okay, can see. There we go. And I'm just gonna draw something here. Catch the edge and Final Cut. Control T, Alt J, Alt B. How do I repair this? Um, let's catch the edge, Control X. But of course, um, we have basically destroyed the planar information. What we can do is get rid of this, right? Get rid of these lines first. Control X, and then Control Alt Shift, right click to select all these edges here. Then X, collapse. There we go. Delete the center line. Control, Control Shift, Control Alt, right click, then Control X, XC. Okay, so X, as you can see, pertains the C hotkey pertains to the collapse edges and faces. So XC. Okay, that's how you repair it. Delete. Oops. Okay. XC didn't work here, so let's just go to center, merge center. Okay, that's how you repair those lines. Row cuts. Whoops. Alt B again. Just a few last edit. Control D. Uh, how about the segment? Bevel segment is S to activate. Then AD. Okay, there we go. And inset, Control T, Alt J, Alt B. Okay, so now I think we have our um we have our what you call it hallway section. Now I'm going to color this with let's check the I think it's still light enough for the array modifier. Let's try and add the array modifier. Array 0 and 1 in the z-axis. Actually -1 to make it. There we go. Increase the count. And yeah, I think it looks good. Okay, let's try and shade this. I was actually going to do a video about just using a simple shading, but I forgot about the model that's going to be in the video, so I just did this. So I'll probably remember it. When I remember it, I'm going to do it tomorrow. Okay, random vertex color, sharp, mark sharp, then play around with the values. Okay, now let's fix these areas, these teeth areas. Make sure they have the same vertex color. And creative flow, vertex color, pick. Actually, we can select it, but it's not unique. It's not unique to this area at least, so I'll just pick this and pick this color. So this remarkably has the same vertex color. So this one here, okay, I forgot just select a single face and link flat faces, vertex color, pick, okay, and this one as well. Pick a single face because they're bounded by a sharp angles anyway, so the selection will stop on that. And then vertex color, pick, there we go. Okay, I'm going to put the shader from my grand shader on this one and see what we uh, get. But first, turning on HDRI, and then in the film, I'm going to set the background to transparent. Okay, so I'm going to append. You won't see the append window because OBS Studio cannot show you that. Okay, grunge, material, grunge metal. Okay, Control Shift X, assign material, grunge metal. Let's look at the material. What the? Um, Oops, not that. No, 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 no. Shader. Okay, so click there. This replace this base color with the vertex color. There we go. And probably use color ramp as a control. And let's try and render this. Wait, the film transparent. Uh, okay. The texture needs work, but first I'm going to fix the lighting so I can see the stuff better. Now let's put in our lights. Try and see if it looks good. Get rid of the mark sharp edges. Um, 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 Control Shift X materials, assign vertex color material, do not use vertex color. And change this to emit E. Okay. Let's set this to 20 and set this to sci-fi orange. Orange or red. Change this to emission. Emit or light. Let's just use emit. And also set it here. Sci material emit. And another one here. Let's use this one. Sci material emit. Okay, let's just use blue. Okay, let's try and put array 0 in the x and -1 in the y and use like 4 and see what we got. What we get. Okay, all it needs is a better lighting. I'm not a lighting expert, so yeah. Um, the pro lighting is going to be your job. And I'm going to modify the intensity of the vertex color. Okay, let's try for the ambient occlusion and set this to 1. give it a brownish color for dirt, just to give it a brownish color for us, like a dirt, just to tone down the blue light. Okay, so this view is like 20 whole section. If you wish to make this lighter, you can just select everything and press limited dissolve. But if you want to use curvature to curve this structure, you need to maintain the quads. Okay, select back to 4. So yeah, this is our simple hallway using randomized base geometry. Then we modeled it manually after that, and this is what we get. Uh, the materials does need a bit more work to make every detail that we have modeled pop out, but if you follow the workflow that I show you, then you can use your own material and then make this a beautiful render. Let's make the light stronger. Lights, okay, just a test. Okay, so there you have it. That's how you can create a Unimesh sci-fi hallway in Blender using random flow, Final Cutter, and the Creative Flow. And most of our model is actually quad. Um, we messed this part up to have even spacing, but it still looks good. Actually, this looks really cool for it looks interior without the covering. So if you want this to be covered, make sure you have solidified the plane that I used earlier before modeling this inside. You solidify this part to have a thickness so this doesn't show up. But that's, yeah, yeah. Um, I may need to study lighting interiors Okay, so because I don't know how to light this properly. Okay, I mostly spend my time scripting, and as you can see in my videos and my models, most of them are just projected or lighted up using HDRI in the outside. So when it comes to interior, I don't know anything. I'll just uh, because um, if I know better, I would have to, of course, have better materials for the surfaces. But I leave it to you. I leave it to you to to use your own lighting and materials on this kind of geometry. But I think this is already looking good. Yeah, so that's it for this video, and I hope you learned something about modeling this kind of um, design using the Creative Bundle add-ons. Um, if you have any questions, make sure to use the comment section or the links in the description of the video. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.